On this episode of Pennies Going In Raw, we interview AJ Trades.
Hey, yo, check 1, 2. This is Flavor Flav in the building for the Atlas crew.
Atlas Trading, what the fuck is up?
There are traders, there are prodigies, and then there's legends.
We're up 4%, baby.
No way.
4 fucking percent.
Buy the fucking dip.
Hey, who told me about IDEX?
Like, dude, what the fuck? Like, someone just made, like, a lot more money than me on my trade.
You find out life's this game of pennies.
Did you check the portfolio?
Pennies. The margin for error is so small.
I bet Warren Buffett never did that.
And they out there making money right now off of penny stocks.
Them two guys is putting in work to make y'all rich.
The pennies we need are everywhere around us.
Time to think big.
Pennies Going In Raw.
Featuring Dan, Deity at Dips,
and Hugh Honey. Produced by Vinny Strokes, baby.
This episode is brought to you by Benzinga. Benzinga has our favorite scanners, news alerts. It has everything you need when you trade to ensure you are at the top of your game. But it doesn't just stop at their app, which you can get 2 weeks free at pro.benzinga.com. That's pro.benzinga.com for 2 weeks free. Their YouTube channel, every day, Monday through Friday, they have Power Hour. They have every single day a live stream where they have guests on. They talk about the news in the stock market, and just the guests are incredible. They've had Mia Khalifa, great podcasters like Dan and Hugh Henney. They have other great traders like Ripster and just a bunch of people that you just would love to hear from. So make sure to check it out at youtube.com/Benzinga. Welcome back to another Pennies Going In Raw. Today is Wednesday, March the 31st, and we have on AJ Trades. Let's go. I don't even know where I would start to introduce you aside from just FinTwit legend. You have your own Discord that's obviously super successful, but thank you for coming on, man.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to be here and just to be around you two and being acknowledged. Been doing this for about 15, 16 years. And, you know, the chat room's been almost 9 years going. And just to be here, it's just, it's a reflection of all the hard work that we all put in
That's
the chat
awesome.
room. So thank you. It's an honor.
So the way we start most of these is just as simple as, when did you start trading and how did you start trading? Kind of like just starting it off.
Sure. Well, I was in the mortgage business in the 90s and 2000, and I was really, it was incredible. And I was doing that for about, I'd say about 10, 12 years. I had around about almost 2,000 people working for me, about 100 employees. It was just an incredible business that I ran. And I was very successful at it. And it was really good about understanding people skills. And, you know, I think it really prepared me for chat room status, because when you run a chat room, you know, you don't really get to see the individuals. So you just sense how they talk to you when they type. And then from there, you develop like the personalities of the people. It's just like when I was taking loan applications, half the time, you know, I would look at applications and I could develop what the client was all about and so forth. So it really helped. And of course, people skills, helping people be successful. I was always about that. And then the mortgage business changed and I basically had to get out. The feds raised the rates. Housing, I mean, if you saw Too Big to Fail, I was right in that. And then they did a whole movie on that. You know, I was in the middle of that and I went through that. And so in 2000, early 2000, I was doing some trading. I had a stockbroker I think it was Smith Barney. He showed me, and we were doing stocks there, here and there. So it was not to the level we do here now today, but it really intrigued me a lot. And then when I got out of the loan business, I went to Vegas. I met a guy. His name was Dave. He was doing, I believe at that time, penny stocks. And he was doing extremely well, very successful person. And he was making, I think, $400,000 or $500,000 a year. And to me, that's decent money. And I like that. I'm like, okay, we could do that. But I didn't really know anything about what he did. So he had to say, hey, why don't you come over, check it out the next day. So I went over. And then he was showing me okay, so you see this penny stock going from 2 cents to 10 cents. Well, I buy just a ton of shares and then I make all that money. I'm like, wow, that's great. Wow. Any other stocks like Home Depot and Apple? Oh, I don't trade those. I don't do that. No, we're penny stocks. No, that's where you got to start. And I'm like, no, I really want to. I mean, just show me. And so he's showing me these charts, and I'll never forget it. He was showing me, okay, you see this stock. And so I looked at him for a second. I'm like, Dave, and this is what it really came all about. If I can tell that stock's going to go from there to there before it goes there, I can make all that money. He goes, okay, listen, AJ, you're awesome in the loan business, but this is a whole different world. No, just answer the question. Just answer it. If I can tell the stock before it moves, do I make all that money, whether it goes up or down? He goes, there's nobody does that. And in my world, when the minute someone tells me nobody can do that, that's it. That's my signal. Because no
Game
means,
yeah.
Yes, it's possibilities. There's an opportunity. And I wanted to be that one guy that can look at a stock, no matter what it is, penny stock to mid cap, large cap, huge, Amazon, Google, it doesn't matter. I can look at any stock and go, this stock's going to do this before it does it. And that's how Awesome Calls was sort of being developed back then. But I had to learn the game, and unfortunately, day trading, honestly, it's not easy. There's so much that goes on. You got anxiety, you got fear, you got the idea that you're always going to be wrong when you pull the trigger. And a lot of times when traders really begin, they don't even know why they're taking the trade. They might be following you guys or following me or following a call on Twitter or following a call, but really nobody really grasps why they're even taking the trade. And when I was starting out, I went to various rooms and nobody really took the time to just look at me one-on-one and go, this is how the trade's going to work. And if you look at the various rooms out there, nobody really does that. And 9 years ago, when I started Awesome Calls, I said to myself, I want to make sure for the moment someone comes in, I'm educating them from the moment they come in, why this stock is going to do this and where it's going to move up or where it's going to move down. And not only that, I'm going to give you 12 amazing ideas and I'm going to script them all and write them down, my opinions of these stocks, whether they're, and I just give them a list of 12 every day. And then I just pinpoint them to what the stock's going to do before it does. So if it, Abuska would say GameStop's going to hit like today, simple trade, GameStop long at 152, 155, the stock will pop 10 points to 165, short the stock to 145. If you look at the chart today on March 24th, you will see the stock hit 155 at the open. It went all the way to 166 and it flushed down to 145.
I'm looking at it right now. That's awesome.
That's what I do.
That is awesome.
I've studied so many years, and I've taken my hits. I must have lost $200,000-$300,000 when I first started day trading. At some point, I just thought I was the worst after 7 years in the business. I thought, man, I'm just not getting it. And when I realized that I'm chasing an idea, I'm not knowing why I'm taking the stock. And that's really where Awesome Calls comes in. Like, I really want you not just to take the idea, or if I'm trading live on a screen or I'm scalping idea, I want you to know why, game is going to do this. I want you to know why Tesla's going to bottom out here. I want you to understand, because I don't just look at the chart. I just don't look at the stock. You have to feel the market. When you get up every morning, you literally have to look, what's the NASDAQ doing? What's the 10-year note doing? Get the feel of how they're talking on the air and so forth. And that will give you a direction when the market opens, where the stocks are going to end up doing. And that's really what I try to teach people. You've got to feel this, what the market is giving you. And then from there, you can dictate based on the analyst. An analyst can, like Goldman Sachs, can say, this stock is worth $100 and it's sitting at 60. But if the NASDAQ is down and it's a tech stock, that stock will not go up. The stock will flush down. The gap up will be filled, and then it'll flush down 3 or 4 points. And it's little things like that. And also, I started with IPOs. I do bios. I mean, you should see my bios. I mean, phase one, phase two, phase three. I have to teach a trader how to read a phase one. What is a phase two? And then you have to go into detail what moves a stock in a phase one and in a phase two and a phase three. What happens when FDA gets approved? But again, that takes years and years and years. And sometimes when a client comes in, or not a client, a member comes in and says, okay, I want you to show me. I have to remember this member doesn't know what a phase one and what moves a stock. Like, okay, acne doesn't move a stock. Diet pills don't move a stock. Poop pills don't move a stock. Anything with your skin doesn't move a stock. So those stocks may be gapping up on a phase one or two, and I just short the stocks. People just sit there like, how did you know that would come down? And it's like, just this takes years and years to develop. So
yeah, I think the unbiased part of knowing to go long and knowing when to go short is an awesome attribute. Not keeping that blinded those blinders on about just being a long only or just being a short only. So I think that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting. There's so many traders out there don't even know how to short.
Yeah.
And I want them to know, like, listen, if you think a stock's going to go up, don't you think a stock's going to go down? Yeah. Well, let me teach you, if the stock goes down, you can make the same amount of money, if not more, than you can make the stock going up. And there's so many, but nobody out there really takes the time to it's okay. Because there's so many people out there that I don't want to short. I don't want to short. I don't want to short. Well, you need to encourage them. You can short. Don't always be long biased, because then you're just going to be waiting around for that one trade. You want to be versatile.
Definitely.
So you said you started the Awesome Calls in 2011, correct?
No, I believe it was 8 years now. So it was 2013, 2014. Yeah.
And you kind of started trading after the 2008 crisis and then finance. So would you say it took you like that 5 to 6 years to really hone your skills and realize this is what it took?
Absolutely.
Was that whole thing, right?
Losing.
Because I feel like so many new traders come in today and just so many with the GameStop AMC, and they may have made a lot or dropped a lot, who knows, but they got addicted to the whole feel of it. And
absolutely.
It is a long process.
It's a very, that's what you need to answer that. Yeah. It was, when you lose and then you lose and then you lose, even if you're in a room and copying the mod to a T and you still net red, but he's flashing, oh, look how much money I made. Oh, I'm this, I'm that. And you're just sitting there going, okay, what am I doing wrong? And what it really comes down to, and I'll be real honest, and it took me this many years to really understand it, is when you enter a trade, any trade, it doesn't matter what it is, penny, long, this, if you don't understand the trade itself, why it's going to go up or down, you will never get this business. You can't just go in, well, maybe. We don't trade in stocks that say maybe. Whenever I trade in the chat room, well, maybe it'll do this. I don't. If I take it, this is going to do here. We're going to pop here. We're going to move here. We're going to get this. This is going to flush down here. If it hits here, we're done with it. People need direction in the sense they need to know, and then what I love, after the stock flushes, they'll ask me, why did that happen? And that's where I take the few moments to say, let me explain to you why this happened, so you can understand what they're doing. And, and I think that's really, I kept losing and losing. I kept saying, gosh, darn it, why am I keep losing? I don't want to lose no more. And that's when I stepped away. And I think my turning point in my career was when I went to, briefing trader. I don't know if you guys understand briefing in play, briefing live. They're basically a scan service that gives you news information. But back then, and I think even today, they have a group of traders, and it's like $300, $350 a month. It was expensive. But there was one guy when I was a kid, when I was growing up in trading. His name was Damon. They call him Scalp Trader. And for the first time in my life, and I eliminated all the other chat rooms. I just wanted to focus on this one guy. And he was so successful. But I watched, you know what I watched? I watched how he went long, how he wrote when he went short. Every time he took a position, he would explain it and he would detail it, why I'm doing it. When he took a loss, I watched him when he was losing all this money, how he held his composure, what he was saying. Did he admit he was wrong? Those things, I feed off of that. That's energy for me because I want to learn. I want to learn so bad why. And this guy is teaching me how to scale in. Don't hit a home run. Ease into the trade. All those little tidbits that people take for granted, I teach today. And after so many years of being in with him, he started texting me in the morning. AJ, what are you playing today? What's your notes for the day? What are you thinking today? And the validation was one day he goes, those are great calls. Oh my God. But I had spent years watching him and studying everything he did, and then from there, I just took it to a different level. Okay. I'm like, great. I'm going to take what you've taught me and now I'm going to put it to a huge level and I'm going to open the door for so many new traders, but explaining is the key factor to a trader and giving them that one-on-one, when they're in the chat room, you don't see anybody. You see a couple mods that talk or that type and they're different colors and you hear my voice. When I'm on break, you hear great Darksider, who's an amazing technical trader. You got Janny, who's an amazing short seller and technical trader. They take over the mic while I'm gone to allow me to have a break for a couple of hours because your brain gets fried if you keep staring at screens all day and charts and all this, but I love, and then when I come back in the afternoon, I go through my 12, 13, 14 ideas and I say, okay, let's talk about this. And sometimes I'll record it. Sometimes I'll do a secret sauce. Sometimes I'll do a YouTube video, or sometimes I will just talk to them. And what I love talking about more than anything is lifting them up. So many traders slouch and gain weight and, they're not organized and they feel like, they need somebody to, when you get up in the morning, look at what we do every day. We're up at 4:30, 5 o'clock every morning. I'm on the West Coast in the Bel Air. I'm up at 3:30. And I go to bed at 8 o'clock, 8:30, but this is the life I choose. But when you get in that room, everyone is counting on you to get them excited, get them ready, get them rolling, keep that smile, keep that energy up because the market's not sleeping. The market's going to open up and it's going to fly. And either you're going to be a part of it or you're just going to just be a bystander. So I have to keep everyone. And then when they lose, that's when you really got to come in and be that leader and say, listen, it's okay. I've been there. I always say to people, what makes a great coach in basketball? Why was Phil Jackson so superior to me? Right. Well, yes, you're 100%. But what made him was he was a player and he won a championship. So he understood the whole realm before he became a coach. But because his background was a player, it was able to him to relate to the players and their egos and so forth. It's the same thing in trading. You can't take a trader. Listen, how many rooms are being opened up because the guy had a great 2 years? Oh, now look at me. I'm great. Okay. I want to be with the guy who's lost. So when I lose on a trade and I lose big, that guy can talk to me and help me through what I'm going through, the emotions I'm feeling. When a trader that constantly says, I win, I win, I win, I win, I win, I win, what are you going to learn from that person? You have to be able to handle, because not everyone can win. Not everyone can always get in a trade and win. You're going to have your losses, but you have to help traders overcome that. And that's really, really important in day trading more than anything in the world. Get them to feel they can do this, but be there for them to show them this is how you do it. Let me explain to you. And the more knowledge they have, more power they have, more they can execute the trades with confidence. That's it.
So you kind of hint on these big losses that you took for, I assume, at least a decent period of time for it to take you down near $500,000. What was like your motivation that kept you, hey, I'm going to still do this? Were you just that hooked on it? Or what kind of made you just so convinced you could do this even after being down what I imagine was a huge amount for you at the time?
I just think it's just, I think more or less it's it's my kind of my upbringing. I was adopted, and for 18 years of my life, I was abused, beaten up, tossed away. These people just did not want me around. And as soon as I turned 18, they threw me on the streets. And from that point on, I was on my own. And so, it builds a big character about yourself. Like, you can't fail. You won't let yourself fail. Nobody spoon feeds me. There's no trust fund money I have. This world I build is my own, So I think what I appreciate is not allowing myself to fail. When I was doing the loan business, people were going, "Oh, I don't think you could be that good. I don't know if you can make it." Man, I was doing, I made over $20 million at the height of the loan business just on my own.
Whoa.
So I mean those years.
So
were
maybe
amazing.
maybe the 500,000.
Yeah, maybe that wasn't that bad.
Yeah. So I mean, I think in my best year, I think in 2000. What was that? 2005 was my best year, over 20 million. I think I did 12, 13 million in '04, 9 million.
Shit.
Yeah. My life is beautiful. I've been rewarded an amazing life, but at the same token, trading isn't the loan business. You might be good with people and underwriters and numbers and so forth. And I have no college background whatsoever. I'm from the street. And so when I talk to people, it's kind of raw in my room because I'm always like, just my personality comes out. But yeah, I mean, I just don't give up. I'm not one, you put me against the wall. It's like if somebody's hitting you, you better knock me down, and you better make sure I don't get up. Because if I get up, that's all I need. And that's what trading does. It just knocks you down. But if you let it beat you and you don't get up, then you're going to stay on the mat. But for me, I get up. I just like, okay. And again, it comes down to, can someone just teach me the news behind the move? Why is this gapping up 4 points? And that's what I do every day. When you look at my list, you'll see a stock up, let's say 7 points. And I'll look at it. I'm like, I'll read the news and I'm like, no. It closed at 341 yesterday. It's up at 750 today. It's going to be an all-day fader. It won't break 8. Short the stock with size. It'll come back down to $4 and under. And then they're going to do an offering. And just like clockwork, you actually watch the stock all day come down. How many years did that take me to develop that skill? Many. But to the people in the room, it looks like they just learned it their first day. And then I teach them for their first day. We'll see this news. Read through that news. See what the news is telling you. Maybe it could. We're thinking, that's a short. And I equate things to shorts. So if I say a company is going over an offer, that's a short. If you're gapping up 7, 8 points, 12 points, I'm going to fade that stock for the day. Thinking and putting it on paper and actually committing to it are two different things. And these are the little tidbits that I keep trying to teach traders. This is why this sold off today. And especially in bios, my goodness, people get all excited because I used to make, like you said, man, perfect question. I would buy a stock where a bio company would say, we're going to start, what do you call it? When you put people together and you're doing a, what's that word? You're trying out a product and you have to have all these people do it with you, consumers.
Group testing.
Testing of some sort, whatever that is, that term they use. Okay, so this bio company is gapping up 7 points because they're going to finally test this product on 8 people. Okay, that's a short.
Yeah.
Did the FDA approve it yet? Is it shown that it's good yet? Did it get did it clear all this stuff yet? Is it positive? You don't even know. You're just doing what you're supposed to do as a bio company to see if your drug is going to even work down the road. So I kind of just laugh at those, but a lot of people will buy that stock. Oh my gosh, it's going to rip 12 points. Well, did you read the news? All they're doing is putting a group together to test, And so, but hey.
And you teach all like why that moved off this news, but
Yes,
you how did that, was that just over time, headline after headline after headline, and eventually it just clicked for you? Because starting trading, when you started trading, obviously now there's so many more resources, yourself being one of them. Like the playing field now, I feel like for new traders is obviously so much easier, but at the same time, learning those things like you talk about, it's definitely like a time thing, and you just can't grasp that overnight.
Yes, and because I devoted, it's like you're really good at what you do, and you're amazing at what you do. Zach, different level. I mean, one of the greatest traders I've ever met. I mean, he seriously is. I mean, to this day in my lifetime, and people consider me probably one of the greatest day traders as far as knowledge and understanding of a stock. And I feel that, and I just, wow. But for me, when people go, who do you consider the greatest trader you've ever met? And other than the teaching from my guy Damon at briefing, I think Zach, he's just another level. And what he's achieved, as I've watched over the years, that to me, and it's his patience and understanding like that. What I do is it's just more or less, I really, I'm more about just really teaching that essence of, why this stock is moving and why it's gapping up. Is it an analyst call? It's just like analysts. There are 4,400 analysts out there. Well, in awesome calls, there's only really 10 we look at, and only 5 will move really a stock that we're looking at. So I educate those traders. Now, how long did it take me to understand, to narrow it down to the top 10, to use the top 5 that will move a stock? How many years? 10, 12 years. But to a new trader, like you just said, when they come in, okay, these are the 5 to 10 traders, analysts that will move a stock. And this is why. A B of A will move a stock. A Goldman Sachs will move a stock. And so I'm showing them. But if a Wed Bush comes out with a call and somebody goes in my room, oh, Wed Bush came out with a $400 price target game. And, but they don't know that. If Maxim comes out with a bio BCRX and it's worth $175, and, but it takes you years, because I was one of those guys in a chat room when somebody said Maxim put a price target of $27 on a $4 stock. And I'm one of the first idiots to go buy 2,000 shares thinking, oh my gosh, it's going to go. It's at 27. Until you realize years later, after you take your loss of $1,400 because it just dropped, you realize Maxim doesn't move a stock. They don't have the power. If that was a Goldman or B of A, I would have been green. But you get humbled on every loss, and like I got walloped just today on TLPN, DPL, whatever.
Were you short or long?
I was long. I just got walloped. That thing just,
yeah. Those wicks were nuts.
Wicks, it's just like,
yeah.
And I'm AJ, and I was like, traders, these market makers, they're good. They're better than me right now, because they are just, everything is a pull. And I couldn't short at TD Ameritrade. They didn't have any shares. So it's like, this is a short seller's dream right here. Just every pop, just yank it. But all they were doing, and what did I learn from all that? Consolidation. If you look at that, they kept that thing above 12.50, and they would not let it go down. And the whole time they were doing it for 6 hours was consolidating for that huge move after. And I said to myself, how did I not know that? But that loss made me understand that stock even better when those market makers are doing that. And after 15, 16 years in the business, I love learning. I never stop learning. Every day I want to learn something. You can never stop learning in this business. The more you learn, the more you earn. That's what I keep telling people.
Yeah. Awesome. I mean, even after all these years and the fact you're still learning, you're still accepting the fact, you're clearly a very, you have your methods, you have your patterns. When you wake up in the morning, I know you said about you check the NASDAQ, you check the news, you got to get the gut feeling of how the market really is going to churn that day. Do you have any other specific things you do? Wake up right in the morning and you just have to do it every single morning?
My routine is just very simple. When I'm up at 3:30, 4 o'clock, I turn on CNBC. And what's interesting is You know, those tickers that go across the bottom, you probably understand it. You understand it as well. I look at those tickers, and those tickers, I'm like the Matrix. And I've seen moves. Okay, there's Tesla up 16 points. Okay, there's Adobe up. Okay, there's Baidu up 9. Oh, Baba's down 17. Okay, I'm just going, and I'm logging them in. I'm just watching. As I'm watching those tickers go across, I've seen the small caps come across. I'm looking for, if it's a $2 stock, I want to see 350 on it. If it's a $5 stock, I want to see $729 on it. I don't want anything up 50 cents, 30 cents, 20 cents. I want gaps. Okay. So that way I can give my short sellers in a room a nice fade, or I can go for a long if I know it's going to have volume. In other words, if that stock that let's say I write down, let's say ABCD, it's up 7 points. Okay, that's great. The first thing you have to look at is the volume. If is it up 7 points on 100,000 shares? Is it up 7 points on 4 million shares in pre-market? Okay. Now we got a trade here. Oh, it's starting to develop and I love it. But then I just kind of write down about 40, 30, 40, 50, 60 tickers. I'm just giving notes and just notes. And I'm just logging them into my phone. And then as I get closer to the market, then when I get up and I start looking at all the scans, the briefing in play, the news watch, the Twitter feed, because I only follow 50. And then I start looking at their news and what they've given me, because everything is information. Everything is information. And from there, I narrow the list down to 15. Then I narrow it down to 12. And that takes about a good, from 4 o'clock to 5:30, 5:40, I got my list done. And then, okay, these are the 12 I'm going to trade today in the room. These are my 12 best ideas. And there's some stocks you've never heard of in your life, like BLFS yesterday. I don't trade that more than maybe 3-4 times a year, but it was gapping up. I read the news. And guess what? Look at that call. I wrote it to perfection. Stock pop a little bit, 46, 47, scale in, take it down to 40 and under. Stock hit 37. So if you had shorts on that, you took 1,500 shares, you banked 10,000 on that trade. I love stocks that I've never traded before, but because of what I've learned, I can adapt to each trade and go, okay, just read the news. Look at the gap, look at the float, look how much it's traded in the pre-market. Okay, this will fall, this will sell off. If you want to long it, you have to wait for here. I'm always telling traders when they join the room, let the stock show you it wants you to play long or short. Let it show you. If you're a long, you wait for that move. You let it show you with that volume. You let it show you once to spike. Yesterday, I don't know if you guys played it, but I took BNTC. And I was it was coming off that 556. I'm like, okay, sure, just go to work. I put it live on the screen. I was nailing it 4,000 blocks at a time, 4,000 shares here, 3,000 here. Now I'm going to go down to 1,000. Then I go through I was up $3,400 in 8 minutes live in front of them. And, and you could just see each move. The spike's going to pop, boom here, because I was letting the stock show you. And I would show the traders, these are your areas. And now what we do is I put in what they call an ACK line. I just basically go to the screen. I put it on screen share, show the chart, and I put a line up. It's a white line that goes across. And I say, okay, if it hits here, I'm longing it. So I got my mouse ready. I'm ready on Active Trader. I put 3,000 shares in. I'm like, okay, let's wait. Oh, wait, hold on. Ready? Hit my line. Boom. You hear it go through right through the tape. All of a sudden, rip 20 cents, $600. I market order out, $492 I just made. Did you make money?
Question, while you're just talking about that, one of the things that I struggle with is false breakouts. So when you say that's hitting your line, is your line past, let's call it resistance? Or because for me, I find that a lot of times if my resistance is X, Y, and Z, it'll touch just above and then fall back through. So do you use typical support and resistance lines or can you touch on that?
Okay, when I'm looking for, let's just take Finco today. Finco, easy trade. I'm looking at the 20 level. Okay, now Finco has a habit of popping and then yanking. And when it yanks, it usually will come back later because that's how Finco trades. The last 5 days I've traded it, Finco does that. So on this one, when it hit 19, okay, now I looked at the high, it hit $20.48. So for me, now think about this real quick, Hugh. If the stock drops under 19 from 2048 and it starts to build and come back up to that 20 level, that is telling you the stock wants to play. It's not going to do a false breakout and pull back again.
Yeah.
That wants you to play. So what I do is I'll put my line, let's say 2048 was the high. I'll go 2020. I say, traders, if it hits 2020, the stock wants to play. Now go look at the stock. Look what it did. It hit 23 a share. When we traded that live with 1,000 shares, and I told them, I'm going 1,000 shares right here, traders, watch. And it just ripped. Now for me, I'm not greedy. If I make 300 on a trade, 500 on a trade, $1,000 on a trade, 900 on a trade, 1,500 on a trade, I'm happy. My belly's full. Because one of the things you have to do if you're going to be a leader, a coach, is you kind of have to relate to the traders in the room. Now, you guys are amazing traders. You guys will make 50, 100, 200 grand, maybe in a day or in a week. But the average trader isn't at that level yet. And so this room is as advanced as it is. I have to relate to those traders. If you can watch me make $200 on this trade right now, what's stopping you from making 100 on that trade? If you can watch me in 20 minutes make $1,000, how could you not make $300 today? You know, you have to. What would it do if I go, oh, I just made $78,000 in 20 seconds because I did size? How does that help that trader in my room?
Yeah,
he's just going to sit there like, I don't think this is for me. But if you take that same trade and you do, let's say, 1,000 shares and make $420, you can relate to that trader, and that's really important in day trading. You know, people are so gung ho about, oh my gosh, you have this and you have that. I'm not. I've lived an amazing life in the loan business. You all seen the 50 Cent video, the candy shop?
Yeah.
Where he's coming in that mansion. That was my house.
Holy
I have
shit.
pictures of him doing the video in my home. He's giving me an arm around me. So I've had the toys. I've had the Rolls Royces and the stuff. Today, my life is very humble. I live in a beautiful home, nice car, enjoy my life. And I'm doing what I love. I love trading and helping people. I think that's really what I love more than anything. Yeah.
So when people look at your screenshots and they go, AJ, you made $1,000. You're doing that for the average trader. You know that you could be taking 100 times that size, but you're doing that for the trader. I'm not that nice of a guy. I'm not that nice of a guy. That is awesome that you do that. I also haven't made 20 million inside the mortgage business. So, don't come for me just yet, but
you guys do amazing. I've seen you guys' progress, and it's awesome. But for that trader who's not just one who's coming out, I'm talking about that guy that's been in business 2-3 years, is just not getting it. You know, you got to start him somewhere. And being in a room where a guy's making $1 million a day isn't going to help that one guy. The traders and those ladies in there, you got to represent. And what I mean by that is you got to show them everything. Don't hold back. Show them why this bio is going to sell off, why this IPO is going to work, why this analyst is going to make this stock fly. Here's a great swing idea. This is why. When you start exploring and explaining to each individual trader on certain stocks why they're moving, now multiply the 12 stocks I do every day. Then we trade another, 30 more in the room from different other ideas. Atlas has an amazing source of great ideas that sometimes come in our room, and I'll look at it. I'm like, I like that. I want to play that. Then I'll size in at 5,000 shares, and I might make 22 cents real quick and go, oh, thank you guys. That was awesome. You know, now if the stock runs and it runs another 4 more points, that's great. That means more people have the opportunity to trade it. But for me, I won on that trade. And if you can teach a trader to win, let's say you do 5 or 6 trades and each one's a winner, 100 here, 300 here, $50 here, 75 here. At the end of the day, you got $600. That's $600 you didn't get 20 minutes ago or an hour ago. You're $600. You know, 600 times 5 days a week? That's almost $3,000. You know, So if you can teach them to be consistent and not get their ego up and their head too big and say, when your trader comes in, I always ask them, well, what's the most you made in a day? 1,200. Okay. All right. So 1,200. That's great. Let's start you at $400. Well, let's see if you're 400 for 3 months straight. Okay. If you get 600 one day, 300 another day, we got to build consistency, and consistency comes with knowledge because you're understanding the move before it happens. And that's the essence of day trading. Why is this stock, like you just said, how would you know it's going to break out here? Well, let me explain to you why, and I'll show you. I mean, and if you look, like Finkel went to 2360. Now, I made $300-400 on that trade in just a blink. That's a 6-second trade for me. If I would have held it 6 more seconds, I could have made another 1,000. But think about all the other traders that are trading that with you that got in that trade at your line, and then the stock rips 2 more points, and they're all going, I just made 200. I just made 300. Do you know the feeling a day trader has when they win? Do you know that feeling? Yeah. It is the most amazing. You beat the stock.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
Awesome feeling. Awesome.
Yeah, no better. For sure. That's also kind of what screwed me personally was my first win. It's kind of like going to the casino. When you get that first win and you're like, oh, this is, there's no better feeling than this. And at that time, me being so inexperienced, I ended up throwing my savings account into it and then blew up from there. So I definitely get what you're saying about that feeling of finally, not gambling, but getting that first real win where you had a thesis, you played the thesis out and it worked out well.
Yes, exactly. I love that. And I hate that word gambling in what we do because we're not gamblers. Imagine what we do for a living. I mean, there's 3 sources of real money in this world: trust funds, real estate, and the stock market. I've done real estate, no trust fund. So the stock market's my baby now. And when you learn this business the way you guys have, where I'm at and who we're teaching, this is a lifetime thing. You're changing lives. You're showing people that you have the ability, if you put in the time, just like going to college for 4 to 6 years. If you give day trading 4 to 6 years of your life, you will never have to work for someone for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel. And I say that to everyone that walks in the room. If you give this, not just treat this as a hobby or something to do on the side, or I'm doing this for luck, don't treat it like that. I don't want anybody in my room like that. Oh, I'm just trying this out. Get out. No, you're not.
That was actually what I was going to ask. One of my next questions was, I have a buddy, Tommy, who frequents your chat room a little bit in the mornings. And he sometimes comes and he's like, man, this guy's crazy. He's yelling at people in voice, telling them to get the fuck out of here. Like, you need to learn to read and shit like that. Can you you're such a helpful guy, but these reviews are striking.
Well, I don't really actually, when I'm in the room and they're talking, or they're not talking, they're just typing, I'm like, no, we're not doing that one. And this is why. This is not going to go anywhere. And it's constant, because you have to understand there's 700 plus people in there. Mm-hmm. And they're all, they all have questions. And what I have to do, and imagine, I have to get them focused on those 12 to 14 ideas, because those are the ideas, in my opinion, they're going to make you the quickest money.
Can't let them get too scatterbrained.
Right. If they're going, oh, well, I just saw this over here. Oh, this room is doing this. Oh, this is doing it. Then I'll look at the stock. There's no volume in it. I have to explain on each one. Oh, what about Apple on this one? Okay, well, the range is going to be about $1.50. Are you okay with that? You're going to want to pay the fence? I mean, I can order a pizza and make you a cake by the time it gets moved up $1. Or do you want to take this stock here on Sakin and go 3 points on the downside in less than a minute and a half? Or Intel this morning. Do you want to trade Apple and move 50 cents in an hour? Or do you want to take Intel and drop 2.5 points and put 1,000 shares in and make $2,200? What do you want to do? And so you kind of have to be like that. You got to be a little bit, get them focused on what you're doing in there so they're not scattered. And once they kind of hone in on what you're doing, then they start, okay, wait, where's your list? Those same people that you say that to are the same people. Where's your list? Where's the notes? Oh my gosh, I have to have these notes. Oh my gosh, let me see where what's he saying? because they're all pretty much scripted what the stocks are going to do. And very rarely will I don't think I've ever yelled at anyone in the room. I don't do that. I don't call anyone stupid. That's a no. I don't like that word in the room. If somebody doesn't understand, or if somebody goes, "Are we live?" I might say, tomorrow we'll start, but let me finish my sentence. I mean, are we live? What is this? I mean, where does that come from? Are we live? Just little things like that. But at the same token, what I love about our room is that it's family. And I think if you ask that Tommy, he'll tell you it's very family orientated in the room. Everyone cares about each other. We all celebrate the win when somebody does something. And I love that. And it's very rare that I'll, when I'm trading live and I'm in a stock, I'm talking to that stock. I don't know if you guys talk when you trade.
Oh,
I'm talking. I'm just talking. I'm talking.
Yo.
So that might be what Tommy might be thinking too. Because I'm always get that bitch. It's gonna move. Watch that shit.
When I'm trading, options, my roommate's like, dude, like the stock moved like 0.2 or like the market moved like 0.4%. I'm like, and it's like, but the options are moving so much. So yeah, I think you have to, I mean, each one, or like, you have a special swing, that's your baby. That's your girl,
I just love it.
It sounds like a 14-year-old's playing Halo 3 in my office. It's crazy.
Look at the rewards. I mean, look at Mark Moses, for instance, 19-year-old, just turned 20. I mean, he's a college kid. Came in my room in November. What does he make now? What? He takes $5-10 grand a day, and he makes anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 every day playing options.
That's awesome. Hey, that's awesome.
So was I a little tough love in the beginning to get Mark focused? Maybe not. But Mark started to get it. Usually when a trader comes in, it takes them a little bit of an adjustment because they're understanding like you're trading with knowledge. You got knowledge in front of you now. You can ask him, you can ask AJ any question, anytime, and he's going to stop and answer. He'll even lose a trade to help you get into one. That's what I want them to feel when they're in the room. So yeah, it's family in there. So I like that atmosphere that we've built. And mods, we don't crowd each other. I've been there, 8-9 years. I've never had a mod and I could be on different sides. If we disagree, I mean, you wouldn't even know it because we're very eloquent how we're respectful, how we treat each other. But for the trader, and this is where I watch traders develop. Some of them have been in the room. I've had guys in the room 6-7 years that still are in the year. They just sign up to the annual. And what I'll do is I'll watch them. And there's so many good traders in my room. A lot of them don't want to be mods because they don't want, they love to make that money and just get in and get out. They don't want to be like, I don't want to share my ideas. Just I go off your list. I make $7 grand. I'm out, and I'm like, okay, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
that is awesome.
Yeah, that was my personal last one. I don't know if you has anything else. You've been awesome to have on. This is awesome to have.
Yeah, I think everyone could take something away from this, and I think that this has been great. We do want to give your son Sebastian a happy birthday. We know it was his birthday yesterday, right?
Thank you. Yeah, he turned 21. Awesome. He is.
Wow.
I
did
love
you take
him so
him out,
much.
or did you?
No, he just came over and we just celebrated together. And he was valedictorian at 17, and then he got all these offers from these different schools, and he ended up going to UCLA. And he's like, Dad, I want to get my bachelor's at 20. I'm like, Seb, you can do it. If there's anywhere in the world you can do it. And look, he got it in December. They actually mailed his degree now. Wow. He interned for B of A and Credit Suisse, saved about $250,000-$300,000. Now he invests in, stocks and Bitcoin and Tesla and now he actually signed a job with Credit Suisse, and he starts in May or June, well over awesome. 6 figures, so, and he's only 21.
And he's kicking 21-year-old Dan's ass right now.
I'm just so proud of him. And
yeah.
I only have one boy. I'm 55 years old, and I hope to live till I'm 100, and I'll be day trading every day till then, because this is something that you think about it. Think about what we do. We get up in our pajamas We take a mouse, we look at a screen, we look at a stock, we determine what it's going to do before it doesn't. We click the button, we make $1,000, $2,000 for the day. What a life. Now, take that life and imagine helping 700, 800, 900 people every day achieve the same goals.
Yeah.
You know, that is the most rewarding. And that's why I always like to pay it forward and give back. You know, that's really important to me. And stay humble. I keep telling traders over and over, don't let the money change you. Stay humble. Remember your losses and learn from them.
That is awesome.
So, but anyway, hey, did you guys have fun?
Yeah.
Now you know what it's like to be in the room.
Yeah. No, that was
I got my first 45-minute session, dude. Hell yeah. All right, man. Well, like I said, dude, it has been awesome having you on. And do you just want to let people know where to find you, how to find you, and how to get in touch with you, kind of?
Well, you know, I built the room on just word of mouth. I don't advertise. I don't do commercials. You know, we are where we are. A lot of rooms have come from my awesome calls. I mean, you could just name them on your two hands. I probably trained a lot of them out there, and you know, just awesomecallstrading.com. I mean, just, you know, ACT is a family, and you know, I think that's really what I want everyone to know, that when you come in, you know, I'm gonna take the time to really show you, you know, why these stocks do what they do. And if you walk away in a month or 2 months or a year, you certainly will be a better trader if you give us the opportunity. And I think that's really important. And I love the fact, because I'm not, for say, a technical trader. When you watch me trade and watch my notes and you see my predictions on how I know the stocks are going to do, you just sit there and you shake your head like, how did he know PBLY Playboy this morning was going to sell off to $18 and then bottom curl and go to 20? How do you know that? And I take that essence of that trade and be able to just educate, well, this is why it did that. I've never traded Playboy. This is the first time I traded in 12, 14 years. I didn't even know it existed. But as soon as I saw the gap up, saw the stock, understood the news, read the earnings report, which is what I do, I analyzed and said, okay, this is going to drop down 2 points, bottom curl, and then long it. When you look at the chart, the stock did exactly what I said. I saw a lady today, make $900 on that trade. And that is the most rewarding thing, when you see traders just really blossoming. So my main thing is on Twitter, AJ Trader 7. And as you know, when you get popular, there's all these feeds. I have AJ Trader 77777 out there, AJ Trader EE. I have, you know, as you get bigger, I don't know, it's crazy. But I'm AJ Trader 7. So that's awesome. Really pretty much why I just tweet out. I always give what I traded during the day, my watch list, and so forth. And I try to keep traders informed on what I'm doing. And that's what draws people into the room. And then, of course, word of mouth, people like yourselves, and of course, the great Zach Morris, and, you know, just everyone that just, you know, mentions awesome calls. If once they were in there, you kind of get hooked. It's like, wow. Because I feel like I've taken all these rooms that I've been in and kind of just put it into this room and said, okay, everyone's saying this stock's going to do this stock's going to do this stock's going to do it. Have you noticed all these rooms are like that? Oh, I caught this because it went here. But really, no one takes the time to go, why? And that's what Awesome Calls is. It's the essence of, why is this stock going to do this before it doesn't? And once you understand that, then you can take the trade with confidence. And with confidence comes consistency.
That's awesome.
And that's
all
it.
right, man. Well, again, thank you for joining. Been a blast. And enjoy your trades. Make them great, man.
You bet.
All right, guys, that's it for Pennies Going in Raw this episode. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you guys did enjoy this or any of our other episodes, please give us those 5 stars. It helps us out a lot. Our next goal is to get 5,000 reviews. Isn't that crazy? I feel like we were just at 500. So thank you guys. Like, comment, tell us what you didn't like, and tell us how we can make this better or what you loved. Thank you guys. See you next week.